So the Gabriel asks 4 questions. He asks about Islam, Īmān, Iḥsān, and the signs of the final hour. And at the end of the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, this is Gabriel, he came to teach you your deen. So if somebody asks, what is the deen of Islam? It equals these 4 things. So that's quite consequential. This is not like a partial hadith, this is a total hadith. It teaches everything. So the first thing is Islam, and then the Prophet ﷺ answers with the things that we just talked about, which are the things that we do. The things that we do, orthopraxis, as we just discussed. In Islam, we call this the Shariah. The Shariah, therefore, regulates for us, articulates for us, explains for us the things that we do. And then he asked them about Īmān. And then the Prophet ﷺ gave him these articles, the 5 articles of faith. These are things that we believe, meaning that they're unseen, but we believe in them nonetheless. So these are the Īmān. And sometimes we call Īmān ʿaqīdah. Sometimes we call it ʿilm al-tawheed. Sometimes we call it, in al-Azhar, we call it usul al-deen. Sometimes we call it ʿilm al-kalām. And the sciences, have multiple names for sort of a whole host of reasons. But this talks about what we believe. Now, when we talk about what we do, we have about 1.2 million points of law throughout all of the canons of all of the madhāhib, Sunni and Shia and everything together. We have about 1.2 million points of law. Over 80 schools of thought to explain and articulate those 1.2 million points of law. When we talk about aqīdah, we have about 1,500 points of belief. So they're less, but they're very deep because they're like kind of philosophical, does God have color, and what does tawheed mean? What can God do? What is impossible for God? Those type of philosophical questions. In tawheed, there are 3 parts of our belief. There are belief related to God, belief related to the prophets, plural, ﷺ, and eschatology, which is what we believe will happen at the end of time and life after death, which is the last question that Gabriel asked about the signs of the end of time. So that's subsumed in the science of theology. And then lastly, the Prophet ﷺ was asked about spiritual perfection or excellence. To worship God as if you see him and if you do not know that he sees you. This is the science of Taṣawwuf or Tazkiyah or akhlaq or fiqh al-qulub. It has different names, but basically it's our disposition. How are we supposed to do all of this on a day-to-day basis? So this hadith is pretty consequential from that point of view.